By looking at the question, we can see that this is a bearing problem with method 2. We have two directions given and we have one acute angle given. So we will draw a north-south line first. Let's place Boise, Idaho right here on this line. I will label that as B. From Boise, Idaho to Helena, Montana is north 52 degrees east. Let's draw that angle. That's northeast. Label the angle 52 degrees. The bearing from Boise, Idaho to Casper, Wyoming is south 84 degrees east. So southeast will be this side. So that is southeast. Let's label that angle 84 degrees. Label Casper, Wyoming location right here. Let's label Helena, Montana as H here. Next sentence. The bearing from Casper, Wyoming to Helena, Montana is north 38 degrees west. So we will draw the north-south line again from here. We can see that the bearing from Casper, Wyoming to Helena, Montana is north 38 degrees west. So northwest side is this way. Let's label them north-south here, northwest side. So this is 38 degrees. Let's place on the north-south line some extra letters. It will help us to write the angles. So I will write here A, D, F, G. Our goal now is to find the distance from Boise, Idaho to Helena, Montana. This distance BC. Let's place a question mark here. Remember again, our goal is to find this particular angle, this angle, this angle in a triangle. And let's see if we need these sides to find this distance BC. So to find the angle HBC, we will use this linear angle 180 degrees. So from 180 degrees, we will subtract 52 degrees and 84 degrees. So measure angle HBC equals 180 degrees minus 52 degrees minus 84 degrees, which is equal to 44 degrees. So we found this particular angle. Let's write that with a light blue color, 44 degrees. Let's find this particular angle. How do we find that? If two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, let's say this is your transversal, then the alternate interior angles are congruent. That means this particular angle is congruent to this particular angle and this angle is congruent to this angle. To find measure angle HCB, what we can say that 84 degrees is congruent with this angle. Let's write the statement from our geometry class. If two parallel lines are then alternate interior angles are congruent, measure angle TBC is same as measure angle FCB, but FCB is the sum of two angles. So we can write FCB as measure angle FCH plus measure angle HCB. So now we will plug in the values. Measure angle FCH 38 degrees plus measure angle HCB. We need to find that. Measure angle DBC equals 84 degrees. To find measure angle HCB, we will subtract 38 degrees from 84 degrees. So that answer will be 46 degrees. So now I will erase all of this so far. I will label this angle 46 degrees. Now, third step, how do we find measure angle BHC? Again, we know that in a triangle, sum of the three interior angles, which is equal to 180 degrees. So we can say that in a triangle HBC, measure angle H, measure angle B, measure angle C equals 180 degrees. So measure angle H equals 180 degrees minus measure angle B, which is 44 degrees, minus measure angle C, which is this angle from the triangle CBH or BHC or HCB, 46 degrees. So that will be equals 90 degrees. So we can label this as 90 degrees. So triangle BHC is a right triangle. And now our goal is to find this distance from here to here. What is given to us is this piece of information. A plane flying at 288 miles per hour takes 1.5 hours to go from Boise to Casper. That means to go from Boise to Casper, it takes 1.5 hours, and we're looking for the distance from Boise to Helena. So this is the distance we're looking for. We were looking for this distance as well, but it's given in a way. We know our formula that this miles per hour is speed, and we have given the time. So what would be the distance? BC. We will use the formula called distance equals rate times the times. So the rate is 288 miles per hour times 1.5 hours. Hours get cancelled. When we multiply them, we get 432 miles. So this distance is given 432 miles. The question is asking, find the distance from Boise to Helena. In front of the right triangle is always hypotenuse. So this is the length of the side in front of the right angle is hypotenuse. And we're looking for this side, BH. So to use this right triangle, we can use either this angle or we can use 44. If we decided to use 44 degrees angle, then we have to use cosine, because cosine gives us adjacent over hypotenuse. If we decided to use sine, then we'll find this length, which we don't need it. Or you can use 46 degrees, but then you have to use sine. Why? Because if you use this angle, then this is the opposite side and the hypotenuse. You can't use tangent, because to find the tangent, you have to have one angle given and at least one of the sides given, either x or the y. Or I will say opposite and adjacent, one of the sides should be given, but we don't have it. Instead, we have given hypotenuse. So we can only use either sine function or the cosine function. So let's say that you decided to use this particular angle. Then you can use cosine 44 degrees. So the last step now, find BH. I would like to use this particular angle, okay? You will use cosine of 44 degrees equals adjacent, which is BH. This is adjacent side over the hypotenuse 432 miles. Cosine 44 degrees using your calculator is 0.7193398003, and BH over 432 miles. Cross multiply, so that will give you 310.7547937, and the unit will be miles. If you round this distance to 3 significant digits, your answer will be 311 miles. That will be the distance from Boise, Idaho to Helena, Montana. Now let's say somebody says, I would like to use this particular angle. Then you have to use sine, because now this becomes your opposite side and this becomes your hypotenuse. So please check it out. And if you decided for some reason to find your BH that way, okay, then you use sine 46 degrees equals BH over 432 miles, the hypotenuse. Sine 46 degrees, the answer will be same as this one, 0.7193398003. Cross multiply these two values. Final answer for BH will be 310.7547937, and we round this value, get this particular answer, 311 miles from Boise, Idaho to Helena, Montana. Why? It's because of this reason. Sine 46 degrees and cosine 44 degrees, they're co-functions, and that's why their values have to be exactly the same. Hope this will help you.